Hello, hello there, and welcome. I am so glad you are joining me today. Uh, it is Friday. For some reason, my lives are all ending up on Friday afternoons. I'm not sure if that's going to continue or not. It just happens to be what's worked for me. So, does everything look okay, Mike?
Yep.
Good, good. I hope you can all hear me. I'm very glad you're all here. I know weekdays are tough for some because work and such, but weeknights are just not possible for me. So weekdays it is. So hello, friends. Hello, everyone. I appreciate you being here. So last week's live, I was a bit frazzled. I tried to do way too much inside of that live. I did 4 different ways to use one product, and I went really long. I'm going to try to go shorter today, but please give me grace as I'm still figuring out how to do all this. Still trying to figure out how to time things right and feel comfortable on a live. And I was getting a lot of questions because some folks were wondering about my pre-recorded videos, like my regular videos I've been doing for years. I mentioned this last week, but I wanted to mention again that I will continue to do those. I didn't have one this week because my friends Christina Werner and Greg from Concord and Ninth whisked me away to Disney for a little break. So I didn't have time to do a video today. I've got one halfway done, or this week. Got one halfway done. We'll finish it up next week, and I have more planned. But I do plan to do a mix of pre-recorded and these live versions. Sorry, somebody's upstairs, and I realize it's my son who's home early because he's going to volunteer this weekend. Anyway, it just scared me a bit. Yeah, hi, Sabrina. I see Scrappy Tails is here. She said she likes my shirt and my earrings. I think it's fun to get dressed up for lives up here, but please do know, oh gosh, I have pajama pants on. I will always have pajamas pants on in lives. Mike's laughing at me. He doesn't have pajama pants on, just me. So a few things we're going to try today. Mike is going to try. Mike is my brother. He's not so crafty Mike. He'll be in the comments. Sometimes he helps answer some questions there. We're going to try for him to maybe put the product name on the bottom of the screen as we're going. No. He said no. We're going to try. He's trying. Also, I think Brienne is here. Brienne, if you're here, let me know. Brienne is a friend of mine, Brienne Loveland. She's the creator of the Inkstand, and she has this incredible gift for finding links to videos or products as we're talking. She's really fast at it. So if you are looking for something, sometimes she might pop in the comment or in the chat on the side and share those links. She's usually here. Someone asked if I have wine today. No, it's Friday at 1. I guess, hey, you do you. But no, I have a giant water, which I'm hoping I won't regret drinking in about a half hour. Okay, good. Brianne's here. She's got the little tool next to her name because she is helping me out here. As we go, I do want to say, if you've been sitting here for a bit, you might want to refresh the browser because in the description below, I have linked a lot of the things I'll be using. Also, I'm using Pinkfresh Studio products today, and they have a free layering stencil set if you spend $30 or more. And you don't need a code. You don't need to add it to your cart. It will automatically be added to your order when they're packing it up to ship. So it's like the easiest way to get a free gift. You just place an order of $30 or more and you can get that gift. The description and how all about that is in the YouTube description below. If you don't see much description, if you click the more button, I think it pops down so you can see more of it. And there's links to everything I'm using. If I mention a video, it'll be linked there. If you're curious about my nails, those are linked there. If you're curious about anything, most of it will be there. If there's something I missed, Mike will add it. So I think I'm going to get started. I will try my best to answer questions as we go. Today is we're going to do some inking, or some stenciling and die cutting, and then we're going to make a see-through card. See-through cards, I think, are just something I've loved to do. I have linked below 2 different videos I've done in the past with variations of how to do see-through cards. I feel like it's a great way to get a really unique, special look out of your die cuts. And, you know, it takes a little bit of time, but it definitely is worth it. So that's my little intro. Yes, we went to Disney. Christina and Greg are my fellow Disney lovers. I have anxiety issues, but for some reason, when you're in that crowded, hot mess of Disney, my anxiety goes away. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that everybody is like doing their own thing and really happy. You know, people are walking around with rodent ears on and nobody cares, right? So I don't know what it is. All the things to look at, but we had a lot of good laughs, and I got to see Jeff Lindbergh too. So we had a good old time. Okay, so if you have a question, please put question in big letters, and Mike and I will try to catch it as we go. Okay, so let me show you what I'm mostly using today, because I saw these and I thought they were brilliant, and I thought I'd put them to good use making a see-through card. I'm hoping I get to that point and it doesn't get too long. Bran, I'm the same way. You can do concerts, but not the grocery store. It's the same thing. I can do concerts. The grocery store, I have to pump myself up for about 5 days to get there. But usually I talk my husband or Mike into going. So, you know, I get it. I don't know what it is. I guess there's enough going on and everybody's doing their own thing. I don't know. Anyway, nobody said anxiety is ever going to make sense. So what I have here is from Pinkfresh Studio. I'm using Pinkfresh Studio today. They have a new release that just came out, and it's got a lot of great stuff in it, but I'm using my 3 favorite products from that release today. I saw it and I knew I wanted to go live. We'll come to the 3rd product later, but the first 2 are these. We have, let's look at this one first. This is Sweet Blossoms. Mike, can you put Pinkfresh Sweet Blossoms on the bottom of the screen there? We're going to try this out. He's not going to do it. Come on, Mike. Okay.
I don't know how to do it quickly without switching away from the scene.
Okay, then we're going to have to practice that for next time.
You asked me 5 minutes before we started.
Oh, okay, next time. Okay, so what's neat about this, let me put this here. This is the Pinkfresh Sweet Blossoms. There's a stencil set, these 2 large stencils, and there's a die set. Now the die set you could absolutely use on its own and just cut it from colored cardstock, or cut it from white and ink up the die cuts. However, they also have this stencil set, and if you do the stenciling and then ink over the stencils and then die cut, you end up with really beautiful inked die cuts with a lot of detail to them, and there's no white trim around the edge. So there's no, like, I don't know what you call that white trim around some of the images that we die cut. So this is what you'll end up with. With these products, you can end up with flowers like this. Now you don't have to use the stems, you could just use the flowers alone. I'm gonna do a little bit of both, but this is kind of what you get from that die set. So this one is the Sweet Blossoms. Oh, Kelly, thank you for this super chat. I'm so glad you're here, and yeah, my husband's golfing. Is it playing golf or golfing? I never get it right. Maybe I'll have him bring me home a Starbucks afterwards. Okay, now the other set that I have is the Stylized Florals, and this is the same kind of thing. Hi, Shari. The same kind of thing. You have 2 stencils that will allow you to ink the flowers, and then you can cut them out with the dies, or since it's sold separately, you can use the dies to cut from colored cardstock, and you don't need to do the inking. So it's totally up to you. Let me just show you real quick. So like these right here, I used those dies to cut from colored cardstock. I'm going to be inking today with the stencils, but do know if you don't want to take the time to ink with stencils, you definitely can use the dies alone. They also provide little like line details to it. Now, there are a few reasons I like to ink my die cuts, and one is you can get blending or blend different shades together. Another is sometimes I find myself spending a lot of time looking for colored cardstocks or wasting colored cardstocks when I could really just use an inexpensive white cardstock and ink it to whatever I want. I have more inks and I can mix colors of inks to create my own colors more effectively. So that's what I'm doing today. So we have 2 sets. I'm going to use them both today. We have Sweet Blossoms and we have Stylized Floral. Let's start with the Sweet Blossoms. Now I'm going to show you how to ink each of these, but then Sorry, I gotta go off camera here. I'm gonna show you how to ink each of these, but then I also already have a bunch that I've made off screen so we can make our card, but I wanna show you how these are done. Keep in mind that I've done many, many videos on like selective inking where you use different size brushes or maybe like a mask so that you can get each image a different color. And you definitely could create a bunch of different colored flowers at the same time with these, but I'm mostly gonna just do a bunch of the same color just to save time. So what I have here is a Waffle Flower Grip Mat, which is the same material as a clear stamp, and it'll just hold our paper and our stencil in place. So I'm gonna put that onto my glass work surface here, and I have a piece of 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch white cardstock here. Now you can use any cardstock here. You could start with colored cardstock if you wanted to, but I'm starting with white because again, white is something that's usually less expensive and we have a lot of it, right? So on these stencils, let's start with this right here. Let me see, Stencil 1. Now there are, let's see if I can see it. No, probably not. See, can you see it says Stencil 1 there? It says Stencil 1, and there is also a tick mark right here and a tick mark right here. And those tick marks are to line up with 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch pieces of cardstock, so you know how to line them all up. And there's actually tick marks in all 4 corners. I didn't even realize that. So what I'm gonna do, because I want to make sure that it's fast and easy to line these up, is I'm putting black Sharpie onto all of the little tick marks, those little corner marks. And then I'm putting a little piece of Scotch tape over this so that it doesn't rub off when I use rubbing alcohol. So I'm putting little Sharpie tick marks on the corners here. Can you see those tick marks? Mike, can you see those?
Yeah.
So those little tick marks. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that to this other one while I'm here. So a lot of times if you have layering stencils and the stencils are engraved, but it's hard to see the engraving, what you can do is write on your stencil. Sorry, I gotta tilt in the light here. It's gotta look funny. You can write on your stencils on top of the engraving with a Sharpie so that you can see it better. And then I always put clear Scotch tape on top of it, and that way those little Sharpie marks don't rub off when you clean your stencils. Okay, so now look how easy it is to see those little tick marks. All right, so let's go back to it. I have my grip mat, I'm putting a piece of white cardstock on it, and I'm using those little tick marks to line up with the corners of my cardstock. So see how those are on the corners? Isn't that great how easy that is? All right, just seeing if we have anything here. You can't see the links in, Amanda says she can't see the links.
If it doesn't work from that link, they're in the description.
Yeah, all of the products that I use are in the description below. So if you just open up the description below, you should be able to find them easily. Okay, so this right here, these are actually like two stencils hooked together. So you could cut this here if you wanted to. In fact, you know me. I like to cut my stencils. So these are really two different stencils. So I might as well cut them apart. You don't have to do that. You can keep them together. By doing like one big stencil, it saves on the cost of manufacturing and then therefore the final price of the product. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this here. This is the top of the first stencil. I'm gonna line it up with the tick marks. Now, over this, you can do any kind of inking you want, and you're gonna be impressed with something really cool about these products in just a moment, about these stencils and dyes. It's really neat. I'm starting with Sun Kissed, which is a light kind of orange-ish peach color from Pinkfresh Studio. You can use absolutely any inks that you want to, but what I am doing today is I am taking the lightest color from a color family and then the darkest color from a color family and doing them together, just so we can get that look of a bit of dimension or the look of shading. So in this color family, there's Sun Kissed, and then there's Mimosa, there's Mango Sorbet, and then the darkest is Fruit Punch. So next I'm coming in with Fruit Punch. And I'm gonna put some of that color like at the base of these like side view flowers. I'm using a smaller blending brush for this and just adding the color. One of the things I really like about these inks from Pinkfresh is that they, even if you blend colors and you get kind of streaks or not great blending, they really absorb into each other and soften into each other, that it's very forgiving. So you don't have to do any kind of perfect ink blending here. Now I used an Altenew mini blending brush to add that darker color in those. Now for the center of these flowers, I want dark color towards the center. There are a few things you can do. You can take that same round blending brush and kind of go like right in the center and then work your way in a circular motion to kind of get that blended look. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because these will kind of blend on their own. The other thing you can use is one of these little sponge daubers. I have these linked below. There are a few different sponge daubers like this on the market. I like these because they're smaller and see, they're a little more firm. Now with these, you don't go in a circle. You don't go in a circle, you pounce. And that's another great thing if you're going in the center of a flower. So I can pounce here and then just kind of go in a circle and see how I get that color right in the center. So that's just two different ways to do it. So kind of pounce in the center and you can get as much control as you want over this. So that's just two different ways to ink kind of like the center of a little flower. All right, somebody asked, did somebody ask if the gel press, okay, I think I saw somebody ask if this grip mat is like a gel press. No, it's very different. If you go to Waffle Flowers blog, I know they've done a blog post on how the grip mat is different than a gel press. This is much more firm. This is the same material that clear stamps are made of. Gel plates are much softer. You could use it in the same way, but this definitely is ideal for holding stencils and cardstock and tape. If you don't have a grip mat like this, just tape your cardstock on the back of the stencils. That'll be fine. Now over this, you could do a completely different color. Let's do the blue this time. So here I've got Waterfall. This is one of my favorite colors. Look at this. It's like a pool color that's just got, I don't know, this tropical blue color to it. So I put that down. Now that's the lightest in the color family from Pinkfresh. This is the darkest in the color family. So I want high contrast so it's less effort. So here I could go like this and put a little dark on the corner. Now you could take a really small blending brush to do dark in the center of these flowers, but I don't want to take a lot of time to do that today. Instead, I'm just going to make some of these flowers dark and some light, just so that we have a variety when we put our card together. Okay, so this one I did a little light to dark, and then these two I just did dark, and those I did light. And I'm just going to leave those as is. And then next we have the third part. See how I'm lining up the tick marks each time? Put that down. Let's go back to some more of the colors we did before. So I'm going to do that sun-kissed color over this guy over here. And then I'm going to come in with some of the fruit punch. I don't know that I have the ink stand in my video description. That's not good.
I added it.
Oh, Mike added it. It's down there. So I'm going to do some fruit punch on that. And then for these, on the side here, where'd I put? Where'd it go? Oh my goodness. Where'd I put it? Did I put it away? That's funny if I did. Where did I put it, Mike? Oh, here it is. Sorry. And over here, I'll use some more of that waterfall color. Now, see how there's some dark and some light there? That's what I really like about the Pinkfresh inks, is they kind of, it'll smooth out, it'll absorb, and it'll look really nice. And I'm just going to do dark along the bottom of that. Okay, so this is what we have here. Let me show you what you can do with this. I should probably clean up as I go, but you know, that's the way it goes. Okay, the tick marks that I put these black marks on are engraved in. There were little engraved marks, and I just filled the engraved marks with my black Sharpie so it's easier to see. If you want to remove those black Sharpie tick marks, all you have to do is use rubbing alcohol to take it right off. Okay. So now this is the dye that comes, you know, that you can get to coordinate with those stencils. And what is really important is this is very easy to line up. See that triangle there? And this triangle here? If I line up this triangle in the hole, you just look through it. The little inked triangle there lines up with that triangle. And the inked triangle down here lines up with that triangle. So I can look right through those triangles and see the inking. I'm using my Empress Die Cut Machine, or Empress Die Cut Machine. That's linked below. It's magnetic, so it's going to hold that in place. I'll run that through my die cut machine. Yeah, today I'm doing like a pool color, orangish peach and green color combo. It's one of those that I use quite often and just can't get enough of. So now, let me get this one out. Now look at all these. Ah, somebody said that the Empress Die Cut Machine is on sale at Anna Griffin. That's good to know. It is a pricier die cut machine, but it is definitely worth it. All right. The Pinkfresh ink pads are felt, which means they're like the firm, kind of more traditional, what most of us have used for a longer time. So they're more of a firm pad. I talked a lot about the differences in the pads last live. So see, can you see all the detail that we have in these? So you can layer these up in different ways. See those? Isn't that pretty? I love that. And you get that look of blending. How wide is the opening of the Empress? Let's see. It's wide enough. It's like 9 inches wide. These plates can go through it sideways. Okay, next.
It's like $100 off sale.
Oh, $100 off? They never do that. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Now, the last part of the stencil for this set, by the way, this is again the new Pinkfresh Studio Sweet Blossoms. We're making these flowers that you see here. I am going to use key lime, which is one of my favorite greens. It's not the lightest in the color family, but I didn't want to have too much variation, I guess, with this. I will put a dark color on top. And so I'm inking this using a large blending brush. You could do each of these a different color if you want different shades of green. Maybe a lime green would be fun to add in here, but I'm just using the same color for all of them. All right. Do the Impress plates warp? Absolutely not. You can see my plates are flat as can be, and they're very well loved. I've used those for months, and I do an obscene amount of die cutting. Okay, so I did key lime first. Now I'm coming in with olive, which is much darker, and I am putting some of that kind of at the base of the leaves, but please note, I am not taking much effort here. This is just to get a little variation. I could go higher contrast if I want. I could really take time blending, but you don't need to. By the way, I don't think I've showed you. When the die cut these out, notice there's no white trim around it. The color's right up to the edge, which I think is just so amazing about these. That's what I was most excited about when I saw them. But there's more about it that I think is fun. So, all right, so I just did some inking on here. I did key lime and olive. So you have all of these stems. Now they look kind of clunky or chunky here, but they're designed so that there's actually, the images are a little wider than they need to be die cut. So see how after I die cut out, you can see a little bit was cut away, left over. That's so you can be sure that your whole die cut gets colored. Once again, I'm lining up those 2 triangles. All of these have 2 little triangles that you line up your ink triangle with the triangles in the die set. Okay, Sharon asked, Mike ran upstairs to get water. Sharon asked, have you done the boiling water treatment to get the little paper shards out of your magnetic plate? Yes, you can do it. You can do it. I don't bother, but you definitely could do it. You can see mine are well loved and they're just fine. Okay. All right, so see how these cut out these fine detail, and look at that blending on it. Now, you could just die cut from white and then do the inking on it after you die cut it. But if you've ever tried to ink blend on intricate die cuts like this, delicate die cuts, sometimes you'll like accidentally fold your die cut or just have trouble putting that ink down. It's easier to put the ink down and then die cut. And that's why these are such fun. So let me put these, I've got a bunch of these already made. Let's put it in there with them. You can see I have all of these ready to go. Ugh. All right. Any more questions in there, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said this. Did Brand say the sales start later? I don't know. I'm not sure what the sale is at Anna's.
I'll bring it up.
Mike will pull it up. It's a great machine. Okay. So now we have a look at how detailed all of these little leaf die cuts are. Oh, there we go. Yeah. If you just go, it looks like the sale is going on now over at annagriffin.com for the Empress. Okay, so what I have done here is I use the layering stencils to create those flowers, all these different pieces of flowers, and then I also have my leaves. And what you can do is you can glue all of those die cuts together to create these individual flowers. So like I can take this one and I can glue on, you can even layer them, like glue that down, and then maybe that on top. And you can do like a layered look here. Okay, so many different flowers that you can put together. I really like this one here. I think that's really pretty. I'm not gonna assemble them like that today, but do know there is this picture on the packaging that you can follow. And there's also a lot of examples over on their website at Pinkfresh that you can check out. But this is the Sweet Blossom. So I have a bunch of those die cuts ready to go. All right. All right, so that's the first one. That's the Sweet Blossoms. And remember, you can use those dies without the stencils. I don't know where I put the other one. Here it is. Okay. Now, the other one, I wanted to demonstrate this because there's something really cool about these. This is the Stylized Floral set. And what's really neat about these, I'm going to put little marks in the tick here just so you can better see. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to do the tick marks. We don't need to. We don't need the tick marks for these. There's just the two stencils. But what's neat about this is the die cuts will allow you to create kind of these two arched or curved flower arrangements, and it makes it easy to figure out where to put each of the flowers. So if you ever struggle with creating a floral bouquet or arrangement, this will make it easy for you, and I'll show you that. And yes, there's no white trim on these flowers. That's what's really neat about them. Now, this, let's see, I need a darker color cardstock to show you this. Let's see. I don't know if you can see this or not, but on the stencil, there is an etched line that goes right down here and an etched line that goes right here. And it says color 1 is in this like section. Color 2 goes in this section. Color 3 can be down here, and color 4 is right here. So you just mask off the 4 different areas and do 4 different colors of inks, and then you can create that with one inking, with one stencil. Now, I'm gonna probably not do that many options because I'm not going to need all those, but you definitely can if you wanted to. So I'm gonna lay this down onto my cardstock. There are tick marks on this, so you can line up with the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock. Now let me do masking here on the first one. See, there's an etch line here and etch line here. That means this little quadrant here, you can do all the same color. So I'm gonna lay these two placement guides. These are from Simon Says Stamp. They're just really heavyweight acetate that allows you to do a lot of tricks, but what I'm using it for here is to mask. So I'm masking off all the other openings. All right, so I'm gonna start with, the Sun-Kissed, put down some color here using my large ink blending tool just to save time. Then I'll come in with the Fruit Punch, which is that darker color. I'm going to use this dauber because I can just kind of pounce in a circular motion and just add darker to the inside area. You could use a brush and go in a circular motion, but there's something really easy about using these pouncing kind of, and it's firm so it doesn't get flimsy, but you can use whatever inking tool you have. All right, so these large ones are from Altenew, and I have those linked below. They're fantastic for large backgrounds or large areas. So that is this section here. Now there's these lines here to block off this other section, which I will line this up with here. And now I can do this in a different color. Let's do the waterfall this time. So this is that light pool color, same ones I used before. Putting down color quickly. You can spend more time putting down color, but really, I feel like when you pull it all together, it really doesn't matter. Do some dark on those. Maybe a little bit of dark on the center here. All right. So there's that. So now I got that second color done. Down here is our next quadrant. There's marks here. On this one, I'm just going to do a light yellow. One of my favorite yellow collections has Lemon Whip as the lightest color. And that's what I'll use here. So I'll use Lemon Whip there. And I'm going to leave all of those as is. You can do shading to them if you want to. Totally up to you. And then for that last section, I'll use the darkest yellow in this family, which is Marigold. So again, you could do shading here, but I am just going for solid because I'm going to have so many flowers on here that I don't need any fancy shading. All right, so now I can take this off. And again, this is the Stylized Florals. And watch this. This just makes me so happy. I love, you know me, and one of the things I like to show most in lives are products that are just so well designed that you got to see them completely in action. So to line that up, there's those triangles. You line the ink triangles up with the triangles in the die and then run it through. Are there any questions, Mike, that are burning? What are the questions?
Does the pouncer tool have interchangeable?
Yes, yes. This does have, they have a tip that's a little pointier, or you can change the color or change it for different colors. So there are, I think the tool actually comes with additional tips. But I bought a few of the tools, and you know, one side will be for orange, one side will be for yellow. I grabbed that new one today just so you could see it better. But yeah, they really work quite well. Okay, so now watch this. From that one pass, look at all of these little die cuts we get. And you can layer these. And remember, there's no white trim. So I have all of these different color flowers. So if you look at this picture over here, all of the flowers are what we just created. So I could follow this picture to arrange it. But what's better is the leaf die. So let me show you the leaf. So there's all the little flowers. See how these are what you see here? This is actually the size it would create. Okay, so let's set those aside. Now in the same set, the Stylized Florals is the leaf stencil and die. And this looks kind of funny. But just watch because it really makes things easy. So let's put this down here. It has it numbered. It has that little way to line it up. Any questions? This is the key lime color. I'm just putting it over here pretty quickly. Again, some people love to really spend a lot of time inking over die cuts. Some people want to put it down, the color down quickly. It's totally up to you. No. All right. So let's add some olive on top of this. And I'm going to put, yes, you can watch the replay later. Always, my replays will always be available later. And if you're checking out any of this Pinkfresh stuff, they have a big sale going on. There's sales. If you check in my description below, there's some links to some sales on different products at Pinkfresh. But regardless of anything, if you place an order of $30, or more. It's $30, right, Mike? In the description?
I think so.
If you spend $30 or more at Pinkfresh Studio, they will automatically add a free layering stencil set to your order. You don't need to do a code. You don't need to add it to your cart. They will automatically add it to your order, which I think is awesome. And I think they have free shipping, US shipping at a certain point. But anyway, so if you're doing any shopping, be sure to check that out. We always are looking for ways to save. Okay, now this die, notice these are kind of strange looking, but you'll see in a moment. I'm going to line this up. Again, line up the inked triangles. There's a triangle here and here with the holes on the die. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's very forgiving because the area that you ink is bigger than the area you die cut. All right. Isabel asked, do I have an opinion for the best clear blocks for clear stamps? I recommend a MISTI stamping tool, which I use in almost every video. But if you want a clear block, you could also check out the individual clear blocks that Gina K has. Hers are really nice because they have a round corner. Fantastic. Somebody else asked if you can use a gel plate instead of a grip mat. It is different. You can do it, but the grip mat I find much better because it's much more firm. It's the same material that clear stamps are made out of, so you know you're kind of familiar with what it's like. Highly recommend those grip mats. So now here, see how these are kind of silly looking? What it is it's showing you, so I can follow this here, that little kind of platform there, this little green platform here, is where you put that big flower. So it's showing you how to put an arrangement together to get this. So let's see, here is another little platform, and that's where you put, let's see here, this guy. So you can just follow the picture. Isn't that fun? So I know exactly where to put each of my little die cuts. And you know, always looking for ways to make some of these things easier. I get a lot of questions about, you know, how to know where die cuts go or how to arrange things. This gives you the answer. All right, so I'm just following the picture and look at how I'm able to arrange, because there's a little like platform for each of my flowers to go onto. And there is even, now I'm not going to finish this one because this isn't what I plan to do for this video, but there are even these little berries. Look at this. You can put these little berries up here. And you can really do all of this in any color that you want. So you can add those little berries. Then there's the layering elements. Like this goes right in the center. And then there's another one. This goes right in the center of that. And you can build up this little arrangement. Then these over here, you use with the leftover flowers. And you can create these two elements. Isn't that cool? Now, this is how you can arrange them. That's kind of how they were intended to be done. I instead am going to mix and match and cut up these pieces to create a clear card. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm using both the Stylized Florals and the Sweet Blossoms, I think it's called. I'm going to put this off the screen here. So you've seen me create some flowers and leaves. Off screen, before we got started, I did a bunch of these flowers and leaves. I used all the colors from Pinkfresh that I showed you. And you can see how they were pretty easy to create that great dimension by inking over those stencils. Jennifer, you always say this is your job. What do you mean by that? Cheryl asked. I make videos, card making videos for a living. Editing, creating cards, sharing. It's what I do. I glue things together for a living. Very important stuff, very important stuff. Okay, so I have all of these flowers, and I thought you could make the arrangements like in the pictures, but I thought I would make a see-through card. I really enjoy making see-through cards. I think they are really unique and something that's really good to do if you have a lot of die cuts. Now, I will say I am using kind of small die cuts to create a clear card. And so it's going to take a little more work. If you want to do today's technique faster, I recommend using bigger die cuts or just use the big flowers that I'm from what I created today. But I'm going to mix it all together. I saw somebody ask what the container, all these containers. So this is it's actually a condiment container. You're supposed to put ice in the bottom. There's Brienne. And then your condiments, like your little, I don't know, pickles and stuff when you're having a party. But I don't have parties. I have die cut parties. So all of these rest in here, and there's room to put like my tools underneath. And I like to use these when I create. And then you can take them out if you want to, and they stack nicely. I had this, I have it linked in the description, but if you want more information about it, it is in my crafty gift guide video, which I put out in December. But I really like these. All right, so I thought we'd do a clear card. And this is gonna take a little bit of time, but I promise, once you've done it once, you'll see it's kind of therapeutic and definitely worth the effort. Now, there are a few ways you can go about assembling the front of your clear card, or your see-through card, I should say. Now, what I like to do is use the My Sweet Petunia Clear Matte. This is a clear sticky matte, and it'll really be nice because it'll hold my die cuts in place as I arrange them and create my card front. If you do not have a clear sticky matte like this, you could use a regular sticky matte. You could use this. You could by all means use this, the grip matte from Waffle Flower. You could use Press and Seal. You can use masking paper like Masking Magic from Gina K, but I am using the My Sweet Petunia clear sticky matte. So it's sticky on the side. It comes with 3 different mattes in the package. I'm using this one. It doesn't matter which. I also have a piece of colored cardstock just as a guide. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. That's a size card front I want to create with die cuts. So I'm going to take this and I am taping it to the back of my sticky mat. And this will be a guide. I know I need to arrange all my die cuts in this area so that I cover the entire front of a card. Just stick with me and it'll start to make sense. This has a little bit more stick to it than the grip mat. You could use the grip mat if you want to from Waffle Flower, but this has a little bit more stick, and I just wanted to show you a variation. But you definitely could use that grip mat if you want to. I just like these. If you've ever used like a Cricut or a Silhouette, the stickiness is similar to the mats that come with those. Okay. All right, let me just look here. All right, let me keep going and then we'll keep answering questions because I have to, I'll start this and then I can answer questions as I go. What was that noise? Did I make a noise? No. I hope I didn't make a noise. Okay, so I have just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch colored piece of cardstock on the back of my sticky mat. On the front, I'm going to arrange my inked flower die cuts in that area. That pink piece back there is just a guide. I always like to start in the top corner and kind of work my way across and down. This will ensure that I can get the placement just right to have some of them overlap. You're going to need your die cuts to overlap so they glue together. It sounded like a cat on a piano. I don't know. I'm sorry if I made, I don't know, sound effects. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was. Do you know what it was? We have no idea. Okay. Sorry. No cats here. I'm allergic. All right. I'm starting up in the top corner and I'm going to place this big die cut up here. Just, it's a good to start with a nice big die cut up there on the top. And then I'm going to pour out some of my leaves here. I'm going to grab a leaf. Hang on just a second. I'm going to pour out a bunch of these. So these are all mixed from the different, the 2 different sets I showed you before, the 2 different stencil and die sets. And I just tore off a big leaf and I'm going to put that right here at the top. And I'm just kind of putting it under there and pressing it down. So the stickiness is holding those in place. Oh my goodness. Somebody thought it was their stomach growling. I wondered what it was. That's very interesting. I didn't hear anything. But you know, very well could have been something. All right. So I am just grabbing different die cuts here. There's really no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of filling the space, and I'm going across here. Okay, sorry, my husband's texting me. All right, so this I just tore off one of my die cuts, and I'm gonna have him kind of stick out this way. It really doesn't matter how they go. What you looking for, Mike? Let's do a yellow flower. How's that? Let's put a yellow flower right up here. And then maybe let's take part of this guy. Yeah. We'll take this, and I'm going to put that right under there. And I'm just kind of lifting and tucking flowers and leaves under. And see how they're all overlapping a little bit? Now what I kind of like that placement. I'm good with where that is for now. I'm going to lift up my die cuts and squirt a little bit of strong adhesive under there. This is Gina K Connect liquid adhesive in a fine tip bottle. And this stuff I know will hold well. And I like that it has this fine tip bottle, so I can just kind of lift up a little petal and put some glue underneath. Oops. So now I have those all right across the top. So the glue is just between the die cuts. I didn't get any glue on my mat. Sounded like somebody was booing me. Oh, I was sorry all. I was pulling the plastic off the mat. That was the sound you heard. Somebody discovered that for us. So that's what it was. Okay. So I kind of got a row going on here. I do want to have some of these pretty kind of florals like this. Now remember, these little leaves and stems, they're actually meant to put some of the flowers on, you know, from the set. But I am kind of doing my own thing here. So it's kind of supposed to be on those little spots. I'm going to take this and kind of tuck it under here. But when I do so, I'm also going to make sure it overlaps with that each piece I put in is touching a few different things. All right. So I'm going to put that, so it's that. So those are touching there, and I can put some little adhesive in there. And once you get going on this, after you get started, it really doesn't take that long to go together. And I like to put something heavy on it while it dries. That is my, that's an acrylic block, a heavy crystal block that says Share Handmade Kindness. It's from Bossy Jossie. It's really a nice kind of heavyweight tool to put on things, but you definitely, if you wanted to, could instead use like a book or a paperweight. Right, now look at, I'm gonna start layering too. I'm gonna put this here while I'm thinking about it. I like the look of those two together. See how that layers up there? Just adding some layers. Okay, let's see here. I also have some yellow flowers. Oh, let's keep going. All right, Mike, hit me up with some questions here. I'm gonna put that there.
All right, what were you using to cover the stencil while you stenciled it?
Oh gosh. See, this is my problem with going live, is I can't find things. This is what I was using. They are Simon Says Stamp placement guides. They're linked below. They're great for positioning stamps in your MISTI, but here I was using them to mask off. It's really heavy weight, clear. Well, this one's white, this one's clear, but really heavy weight, and it's just nice to mask off different areas. But there are a lot of things that you can use those for. Definitely a tool that I use often. And in fact, I'm thinking about going live with different ways to use those sometime. Okay, let's put this under here.
Another question.
What's the other question, Mike?
I wash my grip mat with plain Dawn and it's not as sticky. Any tips? How do you clean? Or do you clean?
I don't clean mine. I don't clean mine. Sometimes I'll use a baby wipe. Sometimes I will use, somebody asked about cleaning your grip mat. You can use Ultra Clean, which is a product from Hero Arts. The reason this is a good option is because it is made to clean, clear stamps, and that's what the grip mat is made of. But really, I leave it be, and it seems to be just fine. I just wipe it clean with a baby wipe. And this, if there's something sticky on there that I really want to get off, or something that is stubborn, but usually you don't need to worry about it.
Is the Empress your favorite die cutting machine?
The Empress is my favorite electric die cut machine.
Do you recommend the big one or the mini?
Big. I would recommend the full-size Empress. The small is great, but I don't think you can put, if I remember correctly, I don't think you can put full-size dies through it like a cover plate. So I prefer having the option of the full-size dies. All right, let's see. I'm going to do a big blue flower. Let's do...
Okay, here.
This is fun.
Here's an important crafting question.
What's the important crafting
What are your
question?
favorite things to do and eat at Disney?
Favorite things to do and eat at Disney. Okay, so here, this is going to be a really unpopular opinion. I don't love Disney food. I think it's not that fantastic. But I have found places that I think are pretty good. One of them is Sci-Fi Theater, and that is at Hollywood Studios. The reason I like Sci-Fi Theater is because it is dark, and it's cool, and it's quiet, and they have great burgers, and they have
You sit in a car.
good beer. And you sit like you watch an old sci-fi movie, and you're sitting at a table that looks like a car. It's really cool. That's one of my favorite places. And every time I go to Disney, I absolutely go there. That's one of my favorite things to do. So we went there. You know, there's a few other places that I like, but honestly, I don't love Disney food. There are exceptions, but for the most part, I don't love Disney food. But that's not, I still find things to eat. Don't get me wrong. I find things to eat, and I gain a few pounds, and I enjoy it, and I don't care. So that's where I stand. Okay, so notice everything that I'm doing touches, and I can go back where those die cuts touch. I can put a little bit of strong adhesive, and that way I know this will stay together. So this is forming the front of our card. When we peel it off, it'll be a see-through card front, and I have that pink back there to make sure that everything will connect when we're done. All right, so I'm going to keep going here. You got another question, Mike?
I'm going to ask about where to get those blocks again.
This block. Oh, yeah. I didn't put it in the
linked
description. Okay, Mike added it to the description. You might have to refresh.
I will right now.
Oh, he's going to add it right now. You might have to refresh. So you notice I'm just tearing off little leaves. Just whatever I need. Topolino's is good. You're right. Topolino's is good. We stayed at the Riviera this time, and Topolino's for breakfast was really good. I've been there for dinner too. That's Colin's favorite. That's a Disney tip. Anyway, this acrylic block that you see here next to my right hand. Oops. What am I doing? Next to my right hand is from Bossy Jossie. It's an acrylic block that's nice and heavy, so you can set it on things while they dry. And there are two different sizes. There's this big one and the small one. They weigh about the same. This one's crystal, this one's not. And they're just handy to put on die cuts while they dry, but please, no, you can put anything heavy on it. These are just pretty. I really like Jossie, who makes these at her house. She actually makes them at home. I think her husband does it with her. And I just like to support her. So I asked her if she could use the Share Handmade Kindness logo and make these available to us. All right. Oh, the noise. Everybody's trying to figure out what that noise is, Mike. One person thinks the noise was my die cut machine. Somebody else thinks the noise was me pulling the clear off of my my mat. Who knows? Who knows, right? But I do not have a cat, and no cat was harmed in the making of whatever sound that was, I promise. Okay, so I am just, again, putting down a die cut onto my sticky mat, and then once I have it where I want it, I make sure it's overlapping with others, and I lift up the little edges of the die cut, and wherever they overlap, I put some strong adhesive. Again, this is Gina K Connect. You want a strong adhesive here. You don't want a girly adhesive because we really want this to stay connected. So let's see. More questions, Mike?
Yep. Any tip for adding glue to vellum or clear cards?
Okay, so my thing with adding glue, glue to vellum or clear cards. Whenever I make a clear card or vellum card, I try to hide my glue behind things. Yes, there are glues out there that say they are like vellum friendly or die cut or vellum or friendly, and that you won't see it. But I always think you can see it. I always think you can see it. So here I'm putting, see this long one here? I want to make sure I have this on the top of it. That's one of those little flowers. And this actually has a layering element, so I'll put that on top now. I'll still go back and fill in that spot, but I just want to make sure I have one of these in there. I think that's pretty. Isn't that pretty? I like to hide my adhesive. I always think that is your best bet if you want to make sure that you don't see anything. Is hide it behind die cuts, do a little drop of liquid adhesive behind a gemstone or a pearl. I think that's always your best bet. So this now I can put on top of here, and it kind of gives some support to all that. Look at that, see? It comes together. All right, so I'll put that there, put a little strong adhesive on here. So anywhere the die cuts overlap, oops. See, I'm trying to do things live is really, really hard. Gina's like a superhero that she's been doing this forever. I'm struggling with it. Let me put that back down in there, and I'll put some more glue on it. Do you have another question? Here we go.
What type of magnet sheet do you use?
For what?
That was the question. It's just, sorry.
No, it's okay.
It was. Do you have magnetic sheets
for my
storage that aren't flimsy?
If you go to my crafty gift guide video, I bet you Brianne's here and can put a link in the chat. My crafty gift guide video, I show some magnetic sheets that aren't too thick. I don't like magnetic sheets for storage that are too thick, because then it just takes more room in my containers. But I also don't want them so thin that they won't hold the dies on it. So I found some that are kind of in between, and it's in my crafty gift guide video. So go back and check that out, and you should be able to find it there. Let's see. This is fun. Just putting little die cuts together. But it is quiet in here, and that's kind of odd. That's one of the things that you don't realize about lives is like it's hard to tell if anybody is there. I mean, I see you're there, but you're not like talking back and forth. Anyway, hit me up with something else, Mike.
What do you think of the Tim Holtz stamp platform compared to the MISTI? Do you prefer the MISTI? Okay,
Tim Holtz stamp platform. I will tell you that Tim Holtz, everything that man creates is brilliant. However, I have not used the platform because I have the MISTI and it just works for me, and it's worked for me from the beginning. But Tim's products are fantastic, and I highly, highly suspect that it works really well. Do you want to say hi?
Sure. I'll be back before I leave.
Oh, okay. So this is, I got a friend here. Last time Lila popped by. This guy's taller. That's Colin. So Colin he's in the middle of finding out about different colleges. So
I know the decisions are back. Oh no, they're back in an hour.
He finds out today some of the colleges. He knows he got into his first choice. He wants to be an engineer, like many others in this family. I was an engineer for a couple days, it seemed like. But anyways, Colin, visit before you go. He is going this weekend to volunteer at like a weekend camp, a Young Life weekend camp with kids of special needs, and he's really excited about it. He gets to be a buddy. Okay, what else we got?
Another question. Do all the Pinkfresh dyes and stencils cut without white borders?
No, not, okay, can you put it, okay, yeah. Do all Pinkfresh dyes and stencils cut without white borders? No, no. I think, I'm wondering if anybody from Pinkfresh is here. I think this is the first time, which is really exciting. And I'm hoping that they do well so that they have make more of these, because I think it's just absolutely brilliant. Kim, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Alabama. I bet the weather's nicer in Alabama than it is here. This weather is very, very depressing. Go Purdue, yes. Not so crafty Mike here went to Purdue. He did. He went to Purdue. He was an electrical engineer and did computer science until he started helping me glue paper together and do my tech stuff. He's very good at tech stuff, and so I don't like that there. Whoop. Let's put something smaller there. What else you got, Mike?
Let's see. How do you store your grip mat?
Oh, my grip mat. I store my grip mat in my MISTI stamping tool. So I just take it out when I want to use it and I leave it in there instead of the mouse pad that usually you have in your MISTI stamping tool.
I think you probably answered this with Empress, but what's the best cutting machine for 2024?
Oh, I didn't finish that before. I'm glad you brought that up. My favorite electric machine is the Anna Griffin Empress. My favorite manual die cut machine is the Gina K Intracut and the Spellbinders Platinum. You know, everybody has different wants and needs when it comes to machines, inks, and so on. But for me, those are the ones that I find really have knocked my socks off the most. And I have zero trouble with warping, and I can use them to do anything that I want. All right, I don't know. See, this is where Jennifer overthinks, right, Mike?
Don't you always do that?
I always do that. Jennifer is an overthinker. I don't know if any of you out there are overthinkers, but if you're an overthinker, join the crowd. I am definitely that. Okay, so I'm just tucking in die cuts and making sure they all connect. So I tuck it in, make sure it's touching more than one die cut. And once I know it is, I just put a little bit of strong liquid adhesive underneath. All right. What else we got?
With the blending brushes, do you have any dedicated brushes for each color or each brand?
I have, somebody asked about blending brushes. Do I have a dedicated color for each color, or dedicated brush for each color and brand? I only have a dedicated brush for colors. So like all my blues use or all my teals use this. All my oranges use this one. And it's for all dye inks, any dye inks. I do have another set of brushes for just distress oxide inks because that's a little bit different type of ink and I don't want to get that ink on these brushes. So I do have a different brush set for those. But as far as other dye inks, such as distress ink, these inks, Hero Arts inks, Concord and Ninth inks, Gina K inks, all of those I use the same brushes. Altenew inks, Pinkfresh, all of those I use the same. Isn't this cute? Fun how it's coming together, but it's going to get better. So just stick with me. Okay. What's next, Mike?
Let's see. You cut on both sides of your magnetic plates. Yes.
On the Empress, you can flip your magnetic mat over, but the other side isn't as magnetic-y. But you can. You can, and I have. So yes. So notice how if I put some down, I will just tuck things over and see how that leaf die there, die cut connects these flowers and kind of creates a bridge. And I really press that down. All right.
Do you ever sew on cards?
I have never sewn on cards. I stitch on cards, but I've never, oh, no. Sewing machine, yes.
Sewing machine.
Yeah, I used to all the time. And you know what? I have a sewing machine in here and I always forget to do it. Maybe I need to do that again sometime. It really is neat because it kind of adds to that homemade, handmade feel. So I really like the look of it. I just oftentimes forget. That's all. Put this guy here. And see how I'm making sure I go all the way up to those edges. Yeah, so no, there's no white border with these die cuts. And I'm hoping that they do more like this because I think they're fun. I really do think they're fun.
Do you use different brushes for oxides?
I do use different brushes for oxide inks because oxide inks are a different kind of ink. They have a little bit of pigment property and a dye property to it. Pigment inks and dye inks are different. Oxide inks are kind of roughly a mixed deal. So I don't like to use my oxide brushes with my dye inks. So almost all inks I use the same brushes, but my oxides have their own. All right. So now see how I have all of those die cuts there, and I want to make sure those connect to each other. And while they're kind of drying, I'm going to start gluing some layers on here. What are you looking for?
I'm going to ask about what you set the Empress on.
Somebody asked what I put my Empress Die Cut Machine on. Here's the thing. They have like I think they've got a spinning thing. But what I have is I have a drawer right here next to me, a pull-out drawer, where I have it kind of built in. So it's just sitting in a drawer for me. But there are many different things that you can put it on. But I think Kathy Zilski probably, if she's still here, she could probably tell you. But there is like a turnstile that you can put it on. And that's what Kathy has.
Craft Lazy Susan.
It's like a Lazy Susan. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. That's it. So now I'm just putting layers on here. You can keep it simple if you want, but why keep it simple when you can go over the top? That's usually the way things go for me. All right. Yeah, I find no warping of plates when I use my Platinum, my Spellbinders Platinum, my Empress, or my Gina K. Those I think are all great.
And what color nail polish?
Nail polish. These are press-on nails. I have a link in my description, and it tells the color name I use too. And there's a code there, or a link that you can get $10 off your first order. So that's in the description below. I'm just overthinking my die cuts here. Isn't that fun though? I don't like him there. Lighter. What else you got, Mike?
All right, let's see. When did you get started in card making, and did you do scrapbooking first? Yes.
So when did I get started in card making, and did I do scrapbooking first? Absolutely. I started out in scrapbooking. I was an engineer and I was miserable, and so I decided to find a hobby, and I started volunteering at my church youth group, and we went on like a little mission trip, and I decided to make a little scrapbook when I got home, and that was it. I started doing scrapbooking. I quit my engineering job, and then I met the great folks over at Hero Arts, and they turned me into a card maker, and it was the greatest blessing that I've ever had in my life. We had Aaron, who's the owner of Hero Arts, and then Sherry Carroll, who now works for Simon Says Stamp. They are the ones who are responsible for turning me into a card maker. And I tell you, I don't scrapbook anymore because I'm just really happy with the card making. The aspect of being able to give a card to somebody to make them smile, it is the best part of it for me. So to be able to create and then share, I couldn't pass it up, and I haven't scrapbooked since. I sometimes wish that I still did some scrapbooking, but you know, there's only so much time in the day. Maybe I could go back to that someday, but right now it's just not in the cards. So.
Okay. You gotta read this one.
So Erica wants to know just how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? Okay. What's my favorite ride at Disney? Hi, Erica. My favorite ride at Disney would be Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a newer one at Epcot, and it plays these fun songs in your ear the whole time, and it is so much fun. So much fun. I would stand in line for that all day because it's just by far the best ride. And Greg and Christina agree, so you know, we thankfully agreed on that, and we rode it a couple times. It's very good. I also love Haunted Mansion. I was a little disappointed in Tron, to be honest with you. It didn't really do much for me. It was kind of like it reminded me too much of Space Mountain. It didn't seem different enough, but you know, that's okay.
How's your shoulder doing?
My shoulder's better. I was actually released from physical therapy, which is awesome. I was very excited about that. But to be honest with you, it's starting to hurt on the front, which is new. So I have to call my doctor and see what that's all about. But, you know, it hasn't been bad. My doctor he's actually my next door neighbor. And he said, if you are willing to put in the work and be pretty aggressive with physical therapy, you can recover faster. And I did do that. I decided to really kind of go all in, and I was going to physical therapy 2 or 3 times a week, and it went pretty well. Thank you for asking. Okay, so all I'm doing here is just putting some layers on here. You, by all means, do not need to do this. Will probably put a few more layers on after I get off the live, because see these little guys right here? These are for berries. And so I can go up here. Let's put some yellow berries. I know that's not normal, but that's what I'm going to do. You can put little berries on here. So for me, die sets like this, where you have lots of different flowers, is great for doing something like this. But also remember, if you really want to make it easier and save time, you can go to the company's website and follow how they arranged it, or here on the packaging. So you can see mine looks very different than what's on here. So you can definitely kind of change things up. How are we doing on time? Oh, see, I always go long. So what I will do, because I want to finish this finish-ish, I will just come back later and just add little flowers in some of the gaps. But for right now, I want to make sure that we finish off the card, like finish putting together this see-through card. Like I'll probably put one up there. So anyways, what I have here is just a bunch of die cuts glued together on a sticky mat. Now what I'm going to do is pull this away. Now this was a brand new sticky mat, so it's going to want to stick to these die cuts. So I'm just going to carefully pull it away. And remember, all my die cuts were glued together. Yes, adding those little layers takes a few more minutes on those flowers, but it really steps it up. And these flowers were really meant to be kind of layered together like that. Now we have, look at this. It's one big piece. Isn't that fun? And I will probably go back and add a few little flowers here and there. But right now, this is what I do. Watch. See, I just kind of... Do any of you do that as you craft? Just kind of make a little room. Oh, goodness, I have a mess. All right. So now I'm going to cut this down to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because that's the size card I want. You could, if you wanted to, leave it kind of organic looking like this and make the card with this at the front. I want to have straight edges. It's totally up to you. I'm going to kind of cut right here. And then I can turn this and cut right. See how that, now that straight edge is right here along the bottom. Aren't these colors beautiful? If you're curious what color inks I use from Pinkfresh, they are in, you can go back, I mentioned them all at the beginning. I'm making sure it's 4 1/4 wide. And remember, if you're shopping at Pinkfresh, these are all Pinkfresh products, they do have a free gift if you spend $30. And it automatically gets added to your order. You don't need to add it to your cart. You don't need to use a code. They make it really easy, and all of that information is in the description below. It's a good stencil set. It's not like a little one. So look at that. Isn't that cool? It's like its own thing here. And because I overlapped all of my die cuts, they connect together. All right. Next I have a top folding note card here. All right. I'm going to cut this to make the back of our card. So this is a top folded 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch note card. The way I made this is I took 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock and I cut it in half, and then I folded that in half, and that gives you the top folding note card. Now I'm going to cut a bit off so that there, I'm going to cut a lot of this off so there's just a little flap at the top. Make that flap maybe between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. It's totally up to you. You can save this for something else. So now see, I have this panel with the flap. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and there's this little flap up here. All right, now what I'll do is take my bone folder, really press this down here, and then I have my panel, and I want to glue that there. So what I'm going to do is flip this over, and just along the top edge of these die cuts here, I'm putting strong adhesive. Just along the top, like 1/4 inch, because that's how big our flap is here. Put some strong glue. This is that Gina K Connect. I have trust issues with glue, and she's the only one I trust. So now I'll take, the best way to put this down is to make the bottom line up here. See how it's lined up? And then kind of roll it down and press. So now we want something heavy up there. We need to connect up there. I'll really press that down. So now that see-through panel is glued to that little flap up there. Now if I wanted to, I can go in and add little flowers here and there. I love these little guys. I think they're so cute. Look at those little guys. So you can fill in, you can do as much as you want. I didn't even use these. I thought these were really pretty. See those? I didn't even use those. And really you can interchange all of these. You can follow the examples they have, or you can change it up. Look at that, isn't that fun? Somebody asked, are all bone folders the same or are some better than others? Yes, there is quality difference. Like some are made from Teflon. Honestly, I like the ones from Honeybee, Altenew, Studio Katia. They all have, like, if you get it from a stamp company, they've really vetted the quality, and I think you'd be good with any of the options. So now look at that. See how it's attached up there? And that's the front. Now I can also I want to add a flower up here. Now you can start filling in whatever you want to fill in. I think that looks nice up there. Add that little blue, and then I can cut that off. I'm going to give it a second to dry. And if you see some things that just aren't connected well, you can always go back and add some more glue on or a little die cut to connect. See? Isn't that neat? Now, I will say, I used a lot of little die cuts here. If you wanted to make this process faster, just stick with the bigger die cuts. I really like that result. Now you could, somebody asked, do you need clear acetate? It's totally up to you. You can absolutely put some acetate behind this so that it's, you know, has something to land on, like stand on or whatever, but there's no need. It'll stand up on its own because I connected all those die cuts together. All right. Now the only catch here is if you make your front of your card see-through, you'll see if you write your message here. So what I like to do is take another note card. This time I did a side folding note card. So I cut 8.5 by 11 cardstock in the other direction and then folded it. So this is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch with the side fold. I'm going to cut this a bit smaller. So I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch off one side and a 1/4 inch off here. So now this note card is a little bit smaller than our floral note card. And this one, I'm going to take and glue right on the inside. I love these flowers. Aren't they pretty? And how much easier it is to ink up the flowers before with the stencils before you do the die cutting. I just think that's brilliant. I hope Pinkfresh comes out with more of them. Remember, there are 2 sets I used today, and they're linked below. So now what we have is a card that'll stand up on its own. See, it's strong enough to stand up on its own, and you can open up this way and write your personal message there. Now you could do a smaller top folding card in here, but by doing side folding, when it stands up, it kind of floats away, whereas the top folding card kind of would flop up against the front and it will stand up. So this is how you can make a see-through card front. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And now I can continue to add die cuts here. It's kind of hard to do these when people are watching you, but it's not hard to figure out if you follow the little examples. See, so they have all these examples. I'm just kind of going rogue and doing whatever I want to here. Add different things together. See? Isn't that fun? Another thing that you can do, how do you sharpen your trimmer? I never have had to. I've never sharpened my trimmers. I think a lot of the Tim Holtz ones, which are really high quality, are self-sharpening, so there's no need. So now we have our see-through card front. Isn't that cool? Now, there are a few things you can do to this. I wanted to use the 3rd new product today that I wanted to show you. These are the new Julieta Alpha dies. These are new from Pinkfresh. Off screen, I cut hugs from black cardstock. I die cut each letter 3 times. Let's put that right there. Well, let's put it here so you can see. Those are the Julieta alphabet. It's linked below in the description. I love the style of these. See the detail it adds? It adds these like cut lines on them. And it's a nice size. So you can easily add different sentiments. And you can stack letters, do like XO, XO, different orientations. But what I want to do is hugs. So here's a fun way to also use a clear mat like this. I'm going to line up the corner. See how it's lined up there? But actually, we don't even need to do that. I'll just do it right here. I'm going to take hugs, and I'm lining up the letters on my sticky mat. There are grid lines on here, so I can make sure that they're straight and lined up nicely. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to do them straight. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. What do you think? I think I'll go straight. Let me line these up. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. This mat has closer grid lines. It'll make it easier. Oh, that was the cat screaming noise again, I think. I'm sorry. So I'm going to line these up on a sticky mat. You can also, if you don't have a sticky mat, you can do this on masking paper. I'm just trying to get them positioned how I want them to be on the card. The nice thing about doing this on a clear sticky mat like this is I'll be able to pick it up and bring it over to my project and make sure I'm happy with the spacing of it. Oop, that was good. So let me see. Let me lay that down again. I'm not good when I hurry, and I'm hurrying because I know you guys have other things you need to do today besides watching me. All right, so now look at, I can look here and see, think about where I want to place it. I think I like it down on the bottom. Now what I'll do is I will take some tape. This is Altenew satin tape, but you could use a washi tape, whatever you've got, a strip of masking paper. I'll pick it up like this, press it on the top of the letters, and peel it off. Oop, I lost my G. Come on. Come on, buddy. I need my screaming goat. So now see how they're attached there? And now flip it over. and put strong adhesive on this. Gina K Connect liquid adhesive. And the fine tip bottle is perfect for this. Now, when I go to stick this on my card, I want to make sure I open my card, because if I don't want to glue it closed. So now I'll lay this on here. And I can kind of look and see. I can see through that tape. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but you can see through the tape. And I can put that down and then press, and that will hold it while it I'm making a mess while it dries. Okay, so this is the Julieta Alpha. I really like the style of it. They're also wide enough that if you wanted to, you could like use the negative space of the letters to do, like you could die cut the word hugs from cardstock and use the negative space to create little shaker windows. But I really like the style of that. That's another new set. Okay, now normally I would give this a little more time to dry, but I'm very impatient right now because you gotta wrap this up. I would normally give that a little more time to dry so the letters stay in place. And now look at that. Isn't that fun? That's fun. Now I will probably finish this up off screen like I normally do because I want to save you some time. And let me just show you some of the things that I might do to it. I will take a photo of this card probably after I have a short relaxation time. If anybody ever goes live, you know you're like hung over after it for a little bit. So I will take some time to relax, but then I'll share it. I'm thinking on here, I might do, see the sending love here? There's a coordinating die to cut it out. I think I might put that right above the word hugs. So it says sending love hugs, or I might just do the sending alone and put it right there so it's sending hugs. This is the new Best Wishes stamp set and die set. I think there's a stencil set to color it and a hot foil plate. And that's one of the things I like about Pinkfresh products is they have a lot of products that coordinate well together, so you can pick and choose what you like to do. So then I have also these Pinkfresh clear drops. These are called ice. They're clear, and I'm probably add those to some of the flower centers, or they're glitter drops, which are like glitter in a gemstone. And I'll add some of those to it also. But that's what we've got here. And then it opens up here. You could also strategically place a longer sentiment right here. For example, let me just show you how you would do it. I'm not sure if I am going to do it, but I can show you how to do it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the front yet, but let me show you. This is that Best Wishes set. I took the Sending Love out. Let me get my stamping tool here. Somebody asked how I store my grip mat. This is where it usually is. It's usually in my MISTI stamping tool like this. Now what I can do is put my card here in the corner and then put the sentiment somewhere where I know it's going to land on a flower on the front. And if it's only on the flowers, I know that you won't see it on the inside. So let me just see if I can get that. I'll put it right there. Right on top of that, centered up. And I'll close the door on my stamping tool to grab the stamp. Now I'll open up the card. And let's see here. Let me get my, oh, my cardstock just flew on the ground. Hang on. Get some black ink here. Actually, I'm not going to do black. I think the coral color would be pretty. This is the Fruit Punch. Stamp this right on the inside. Look at that. That's nice. And now, when the card's closed, you don't see that. See, it's all see-through there. And when you open it, you see Sending Love, and then a place for your personal message. And you could add additional little flowers, like a few tiny little flowers around here. I might do that to kind of decorate it. But there you have a clear card. All right. Isn't that fun? This is just a really unique way to use your die cuts to create something very unique. Like this, you can't get a store-bought card like that. And this will flatten and look nice after it's been in an envelope for a while. And it's just a great way to use your products creatively. Now, if you want to learn more about doing see-through cards like this, maybe with like bigger images or with stamped images instead of stencil die cut images, I do have 2 videos that I have linked below in the YouTube description, which show a lot more examples. And also another variation. For this card, I did that little flap there, but there is another way you can do it, which one of those videos shows. I find this gives really good results, and I really think it's it took a bit of time to make it. This took me an hour and a half, but that's fast for me when making a card. So that's what I have. Now, the things I used are linked below in the YouTube description. Also down there, it talks about a free stencil set that you can get if you spend $30 over at Pinkfresh Studio. And that's, the details are in the description, but you don't need to use a code. You don't need to add it to your cart. It'll automatically go in any order that's over $30. And it's for a limited time. All the information's in the description below. Now, I think I'll take a few minutes just to answer a few questions. But again, I've gone long again. This is what I do. Question, Sue asked, do you have any suggestions for someone who wants to get on a design team? Yes. My advice, if you want to get on a design team, is to create and to share. Share on social media, on whatever platform you're on, as much as you can. If you have a specific company in mind, just tag them on your posts. And, if they're looking for somebody, they'll notice you. And I really feel like the best way to get on design teams and really make a go of doing crafting as a part-time or any kind of job is to just let it happen organically. The more you share, the better this will move along. But if you think about people like Tim and Christina and others, they just were sharing and creating. They didn't really set out to make a job out of it, and it just happened. So that would be my advice, is to just create and share and do your own thing. Be original, do your own thing. That's my best. It's not great advice, but that's really what I feel is important. Next question. Do I ever get overwhelmed by my stash? Yes. How do you get past the too much choice paralysis? So often I don't even know where to start because I've just got too much stuff. It's true. I do get overwhelmed. I buy a lot and I'm given a lot. Really the key for me is to focus on the unique products, things like this today that really excite me, something new and different that I want to try. These were, we stenciled and then we die cut and there was no white trim. It was just something fun and different. So for me, I really focus on those clever products. And then I try to pull in an older product too. That way I can be sure that I'm reaching back to my old stuff and using that often. So that's why sometimes you'll see me do videos where I use an older die set or an older sentiment or older sentiment die set or older sentiment stamp set. That's so I can make sure I'm going back and using old things and putting it to good use. All right, a couple more questions. How do you get over that it's not going to turn out how I had it in my head? It rarely will, your card will rarely turn out how you pictured it in your head. But I think you just got to give yourself grace and go with it. It's kind of like life. You plan to go, like when I was at Disney, we planned that the last ride we were going to do is Haunted Mansion. We got to Haunted Mansion, we were in line about to get on, and it died. It happens, so I like to have a plan. Our plan was to go on the ride, but when things change, we went on Pirates of the Caribbean. It's the same thing with cards. You kind of have a plan to get you started, but be okay if things change, and don't give up, because a lot of times you can make changes as you go that will kind of resurrect where you're going, and it usually turns out better in the end, and you always learn something too. And let's see. One last question. Debbie from Virginia, off topic, but where do you get your dividers for your stamp storage? I think you said you made them yourself. Yes. Oh, sorry. Hang on. So these dividers are what I use for my stamps and dies. It's cardstock that I cut, rounded the corners, and then I laminate, and then I put a label on it. And I show how I do that in a video that I put up in October about the Fuse laminating machine from Gina K Designs. So if you look back in October, there is a video on using a laminating machine, and I show how I make these dividers. Nice and thick, You can, you know, remove the label and change it if you need to. So yeah, that's how I do that. So I think I'm gonna have to wrap it up because I went long again. Dang it, dang it. Sorry about that. Really working hard to make these more manageable for everyone. Mike's laughing.
Giveaway.
Oh, yes. We're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to do a giveaway of a Pinkfresh stamp set and die set that go together. I don't have it picked out yet, but I will be sending a coordinating die set and stamp set to a lucky winner. While Mike picks out somebody to win that, just wanted to remind you that all the products that I talked about today are in my description below. Also, how you can get a free gift if you spend $30. Super easy, and I really appreciate that Pinkfresh has that great offer for us. And let's see, Mike, do you have somebody picked out?
Yes, Vanessa Wachlin.
Vanessa Wachlin. Vanessa, you are...
Vanessa, and then Wachlin.
Okay, Vanessa Wachlin. I think that's how you say it. Vanessa, Mike will tag you in the comments. Go to my website and email me there, and we will get your address and send it out to you. So Vanessa Wachlin, you can go to my website and email me through the website, and we'll get you your giveaway. I think that's it. So thank you for watching this long video. If you're interested in anything I use, it's all in the description. I really worked hard to make sure everything was there for you, along with a couple other videos that are related. So if you want some more ideas for making a see-through card using different types of products. And I also have down there links to sales that Pinkfresh is having, because you can also shop that as you look at the free gift. So I think that's it. I thank you all for being here today and spending so much time with me once again. And I'll be back next week with a regular video and another live on Friday. I'll be going live with Gina. So stop back for that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Appreciate you all.